Hey folks, today I have reserved a study room at the public library because I have a meeting this evening near the school where I teach. So I don't want to go all the way home and then drive all the way back, especially after the day I ended up having at school. More about that later. But yay, libraries! Woohoo! I'm not anybody all that important. I'm just one public school teacher, one among about 3.5 million. I don't get to be the person who makes the big decisions. I'm the one who gets them handed to me. And unfortunately, I've kind of gotten used to the decision making folks not listening to me. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm as opinionated as I am. I know that the decision making folks are really, really busy and they've got a lot of people who want to be listened to. But I hope they listen to this. By the time I release this on my channel, we'll be a few weeks into the 2021 school year. As I sat here writing this script, it's day 7. I have 32 students enrolled in my English 2 class. That's during the block when we have lunch, so I'm with those students from 11:25 until 1:40. In less than 1 week, I knew all their names. Now, part of that is because of an activity that I incorporated this year for the first time, the 5-day feedback form. And it's also called Name Tense, and I'm going to do a video about it later on. On Monday and Tuesday, I had 30 students present. Yesterday, Wednesday, it was 16. Some of them emailed me saying things like, I've been quarantined. What do I need to work on? Or, I looked at Google Classroom, but I'm kind of confused. Today, just after class started, the intercom beeped and 2 more students were asked to come to the office and bring their things with them. Just before lunch, there was another beep and 1 more student was dismissed. 10 minutes before the bell to end class, 2 more. I have no idea what things will look like tomorrow. We're not officially doing remote or hybrid learning, but because of yesterday, I added a Google Meet option for that course and I ran it during class. A few students logged on. Most of them I just haven't heard from. I hope they're okay. They probably are, but I don't actually know. And that's hard. It's hard because you care. You care so much, and you do what you can. And sometimes it's not enough. You know this going in. That part isn't all that different from any other year. As a teacher, you know that you personally are not going to make a significant positive difference to every single student. You have to be able to make your peace with that, or you just can't continue as a teacher. But what is different this year is the level of need. Across the board, students are struggling more than ever, and not just academically, although that too. They are frustrated, they are tired, they are discouraged, they are uncertain, they're lonely, they're confused, they are angry. They feel cheated and betrayed. In case you're worried about me, I'm all right. Not great. Honestly, if I was great right now, you should worry. But I'm all right. I'm fortunate to have an incredible support system. It's hard, but at this point, I feel pretty confident that I'll make it through and I'll come out okay on the other side. You want to make me feel better? Leave me a comment. Anyway, all that is to set the groundwork for what this video is actually going to be about: state-mandated standardized testing. I already did a video about this back in February when President Biden's Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona, decided that what would be best for our nation's students would be no-stakes standardized testing. The thing is, I was not personally invested in that decision, as the courses I taught already were ones that didn't have state exams. But I knew that my students would have exams in some of their other classes, so I encouraged them to do their best. Even though the tests wouldn't affect their grade or course completion, I told them that the information that we gathered from their performance on the exams would help us understand how COVID-19 affected student learning. And that was important. They seemed to take that into consideration, at least. And then, as we got into the days when the tests were being administered, I started hearing from other teachers, ones who were proctoring these exams. I wonder if people outside of teaching have ever heard Christmas tree used as a verb. For those of you who don't know, it refers to filling out one of these, a Scantron form, in a zigzag pattern, DCVA ABCD, DCVA ABCD, and so on. Well, state exams aren't given on paper anymore, so the process isn't quite the same. But at the end of last year, teachers were talking about how students were closing their test programs after 5 or 10 minutes, saying that they were done. Something tells me that they weren't putting forth their best effort. Because of this, the results that we get from those exams will tell us next to nothing at all about student learning. What they illustrate is student compliance, or, in the cases I was hearing about, the lack of it. But the thing is, that's true of all standardized tests, though generally to a lesser degree. As I explained in my previous video, I understand and actually agree with the intent of these tests and of attaching funding to them. We want to ensure that students are being treated fairly, that the funding provided will effectively support their education and achievement. We want to know that schools aren't favoring some students while neglecting others, or favoring teaching methods that are less effective but familiar. But there's a wealth of research that shows that extrinsic carrot and stick motivators create more problems than they solve. Alfie Kohn's book, Punished by Rewards, came out back in 1993, folks. And the consequences attached to the exams that loom over students like the blade of Poe's nightmarish pendulum, sweeping closer with every stroke, create an environment that does not remotely facilitate curiosity, exploration, or taking risks, all of which are vital for meaningful learning. We know that in order for assessment to be useful in guiding instruction, timely feedback is essential. State exams happen at the end of the term, and schools often don't get scores back for several weeks. Likewise, we also know that attitude and achievement are intimately linked, and these tests tell educators nothing at all about patterns and attitude that could be helpful in shaping programs to benefit students. The pandemic has forced schools to make unprecedented changes that, let's be honest, we weren't ready for and haven't been adequately supported in implementing. But it's given us the opportunity to examine what we've been doing and make significant changes that could make real improvement in what we provide to our students. Secretary Cardona, Dr. Biden, Mr. President, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but here's what we need. State exams ought to be informative, not punitive. That means they shouldn't take resources away from instruction nearly to the extent that they do, either in terms of how much they cost financially or in terms of how much time teachers and students have to spend on getting through them. Results need to come back within a week. Ideally, state exams should be midterms, not finals, so that these results can actually be put to use within the same course the same students and the same teacher. And most importantly, these exams absolutely must include a survey component that allows students to describe their own perceptions of their educational experiences. Again, this should not be punitive, but it would be helpful for teachers to be made aware of how their actions and interactions come across to their students. We care about our students so much, but they can't read our minds, so sometimes they don't see it. And when that happens, this sort of data gathering can help us understand what we can say or do differently so that our students realize just how much they matter to us. We have a chance to make changes that will benefit our students. There is no reason not to do this. So let's do it.